already have a microphone.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hardy souls, so give yourselves a round of applause. You may. How about a little hug? Just do this. Oh. And I want to clarify something. This is not the new piano.
Okay. It's coming.
Because I knew that a couple of you would be asking me. Want to tell them about it? Tell them where we're at?
It's a Yamaha.
No, this is your
Very
piano.
old.
But you've decided what we're going to get now.
Yes, yeah.
So now it's getting pricing and
Yes.
when it's going to come in options.
It's gonna come in, it's gonna be a month or two. But in the meantime, this thing will not hold its tune any longer, so we're moving on.
Sine waves are great, but if it can't hold its tune, it can't hold the tune. Oh, so good to have you all here today. I'm Reverend Rick Beatty. I'm the senior minister. We have an amazing guest speaker today. His name is Thomas DeSchutter. Some of you know him. He was here last year at our picnic with his two daughters, twin daughters, and his wife, and they were lovely. They just blended in, and people loved him. And when I learned this month that he was going to be back in Michigan to see his daughter at college, because she's going to school here for 4 years, I thought, oh, come and speak for us again. So it gives me a chance to hear somebody else and you as well. So I'm looking forward to that. He said an interesting thing this morning, because I was watching the clock and I'm thinking, well, 20 minutes till 10, and then maybe I should make some notes. I thought, oh shoot, I could talk for a day about prosperity and not duplicate anything. But Thomas said an interesting thing to me. He said, we don't get snow like this on Vancouver Island. I said, really? He said, no. I said, and you're coming the worst, right? Because Lake Michigan's throwing all that snow up on the way. So we're glad he made it this morning. Okay. I'm telling you, my two-handed method works. We light the Christ candle to remind us all that there is within us a presence and a power that is literally the power that creates worlds. The power of God expressed in us, as us, in this moment. Let us remember that that's always true in storms of every kind. It matters not. And if you haven't already, please silence your cell phone. That's such a great gift. And I did that. And I don't think there is. Is there anybody here for the very first time today? I didn't think so. I know there are many of you online at home, because I've already been getting the texts. We're so grateful that the stream is there for you, grateful for your presence energetically with us, connecting us together. And if you're new in the online community, send an email to info@unityofroyaloak.org. Myself or someone on my team will get back to you. We want to encourage you, to support you, to see how we can journey with you as you discover your very best life. God bless you. We have a statement of being. It's a very short, succinct statement. We say it together. God is all, both invisible and visible. One presence, one mind, one power is all. This one that is all is perfect life, perfect love, and perfect substance. I am an individualized expression of God. I am ever one with this perfect life, perfect love, and a perfect substance. It needs the oil refilled. Okay, we'll deal with that later.
We're out of fuel.
We're out of fuel. We may be out of visible fuel, but we are rocket fueled. So let's just switch that around a little bit. A few announcements. Reverend Thomas DeSchutter is here doing a workshop after service today on the 4 powers of prosperity. I hope that some of you will stay. I'll be here. It's not going to be a one-on-one, and he's delighted to do it, and he's realized that we have no control over the weather. We haven't seen weather like this in a couple of years on a Sunday. I about did a donut down the middle of Crooks Road coming in from Rochester Hills. I was fine on the road, and then I got into the median. Nothing hadn't been touched at all to turn into, because they had to have my Tim Hortons sticks, right? Dark roast, medium, double cream, right? Every Sunday. And as I pulled into that meeting, I started to spin, and I about went up on the Social Security people's lawn, and like, oh, and I wasn't going fast, so take good care of yourselves. Our annual congregational meeting is when? Next week. Yes, the 23rd. Next week. That is our annual meeting. We've been announcing it for 6 weeks. We've got a lot going on. All good news. We have 4 candidates for 3 open board positions. You'll get to hear from them. You'll hear about where we are financially, and also from me and my minister's report about what I see as we begin a new decade together this year. So I will complete 10 years at the end of March. And so it's been like, who knew? Who knew? And I've been looking at old pictures of what everything looked like, and it's so different. So I'm going to make a slideshow of that so you all can see it, because some of you who've just come recently, you have no idea. We have touched every single surface and inch of this building over the last 7 years, and you've been a part of that. We have next Sunday, it's our 4th Sunday fundraiser, and this one is being done a little bit differently. Our Green Club, which is a fairly new organization, it's our environmental club, they're raising money for us to buy a commercial dishwasher so that we can minimize some of the waste going into the landfills. And we've been looking at them. I've gotten fairly educated. Now we got to get plumber involved, electrician involved, because there's some work. It's a whole package, so we'll know what that is very shortly. But that next Sunday is a fundraiser. They're not asking people to bring anything. The club is providing everything. So just come and throw some money in. You know, I got the shock of my life the other day. Stopped at McDonald's for lunch. It was like $13. Really? I don't even really like it. It's $13. So. Anyway. And then we have an amazing event here on 3/1. And I did figure out a way to do the videos, but too late. But I've created a playlist of them. They're on YouTube, so I've made it in hours, and then we can loop that. So we'll get that out early with the March Eenies.
Cabaret Boreal will be here in concert on Saturday, March 1st. That's March 1st. At 7 o'clock, doors open at 6:30. Tickets are $20. And I will be selling tickets back in Quigley Hall after service for anybody that wants to get them today. Get your tickets because we do expect to sell out. They're an incredible band.
They are. And I've listened to those 3 videos like over and over and over again. That's Katie and her partner. Yeah.
I want to add that for the fundraiser, we also have very talented musicians playing, so you get a meal and music. So please come in, support them, and contribute to that. So it's going to be more than a $5 meal, guys, if you can possibly do it.
If you're having more than coffee, it's more than $5. Let's get that.
Yeah, exactly. And no, everyone is invited. Give what you can, but it's worthwhile to do this. But we also get food and entertainment before the board meeting, or the
annual meeting. Yep. So everything that we do for anybody at any time, if you are not in a position financially to afford it, talk to me. Everybody participates in everything here, so just so that you know. Okay. So I'll be here. And you can get tickets from Kim today. You can get them on our website. All right, time for Daily Word. I share the Daily Word reading with you with the permission of Unity, who has published Daily Word for 101 years as of this year. For Sunday, February 16th. 16th, we're halfway through February already. The key word is world peace. And the affirmation, I hold a vision of a peaceful world. I hold a vision of a peaceful world. Say that with me. I hold a vision of a peaceful world. We hold a vision because it can pull us in a direction. Because what we see and perceive and wrap with energy, we create. Mind, idea, expression, our unity trinity. The peace I wish to see in the world begins in my own heart. To call upon the peace within me and bring it into the world, I use my spiritual power of imagination to envision the world filled with peace. And through my gift of will, I choose peaceful responses, no matter the circumstance. Take a really deep breath right there. Can you think of anything that really rattled you the last week? So take it, even in that place, even with that. I envision God's healing, loving power enfolding the earth and all its people as I claim this spiritual vision. My heart is lifted, and it's easier for me to perpetuate peace. The notion that others are holding the same vision of a peaceful world encourages and comforts me. I pray our shared goal of peace on earth touches every heart and mind in every corner of the globe. And the scripture is from Isaiah 26:3. Those of steadfast mind you keep in peace because they trust you. And if we want peace, what do we have to do?
Be peaceful.
Be peaceful. Be peace-filled. Be peacemakers.
Unity consciousness. Yeah.
Well, unity consciousness, new thought consciousness, just common sense consciousness, right? But we have to live it to be it. We have a visitor from Unity of Bologna because their building is closed today. They're having a building problem, so we will include them in our prayers. It's prayer time. The prayer partners holding sacred space for us in person are Reverend CJ and Nick. They will both be in the two corners of the room after service if you would like some individual prayer. We're so grateful for them. You can call us during the week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Whoever answers the phone is more than capable of saying a prayer with you or sharing with you, witnessing with you. You can write a prayer request out and put it in the prayer box, which is over here. We send that off to Silent Unity at the end of the month, where it's held for another 30 days. And we have a prayer call list that comes from our prayer partners, a wellness call, but you have to opt in. So if you're not getting those currently, call the office, let the receptionist know who you are and that you would like to receive the wellness calls, and they'll get that info to Mary, and that will happen. Okay, I'm going to start a prayer. I will pause and invite you to speak your intentions into the space. Take a deep breath with me. Sigh it out. Father, Mother, and everything, God, we give thanks for this beautiful winter day. We give thanks for the snow helping make up the deficiency in moisture that we've had in Michigan this season. We give thanks for the drivers who drive plows and ambulances and every other thing, police cruisers, out in whatever the weather is. We give thanks for Thomas's safe journey across the state to be with us today. We take a moment now to speak our words of intention into this sacred space, this safe space, which is so because you make it so. Thinking about Sue. Dear friends at home today, Sue and John. Any who might be feeling shut in or lonely. God, move in us to remind us to check on our neighbors, people we might not see, to make sure they're okay. And we hold our entire planet, and especially North America and the United States, in the light and love of God for peace. Thank you. And so it is. Amen.
Enough to make the right decisions when I'm standing at the fork in the road. Sometimes I wonder and ponder, only to realize I'm not alone, and there's nothing I have to do on my own, because I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has His being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has His being. I am the place where God shows up. I have enough to do the things I need to do to take care of myself. Have the health of mind and body to live a life of grace and hope. Sometimes I wonder and ponder, only to realize I'm not alone, and there's nothing I have to do on my own, because I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has His being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has His being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place. I am the place where God lives. You are the place. Moves and breathes and has His being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place. I am the place where God lives. We are the place. Moves and breathes and has His being. You are the place. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has His being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has His being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has His being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has His being. I am the place where God shows up. Oh yeah.
Jeb, I thought for a second Eddie Watkins Jr. was right here with us.
He's from Detroit too.
I know. I've met him a few times. Oh, I should have introduced myself. Come on.
Oh, great, thank you.
Hi, I'm Rick Beattie.
Hi, Ray.
But we did. We met. He sent me a happy Valentine's. I didn't know we met online. Oh my God. So Thomas, I met Thomas in minister's support meeting with Martha Creek 2-3 years ago. I can't remember exactly when, but he was just this guy who rode a motorcycle in winter and from one end of Vancouver Island to the other and did forest bathing. And I thought, who is this guy? He'd been a wealth management dude, started a firm, still kind of winding that down, and then found this teaching in an interesting way. I won't reveal that because he may do that or at some later point. But I don't know many people who are as genuine as Thomas is. He's got an amazing family. He just shows up. He's a light, and he's now the senior minister at Unity on Vancouver Island. Please welcome Thomas DeSchutter.
Thanks, Rick. Hi, everyone. It's great to be here. What a ride this morning from Grand Rapids. You know, I live on the Pacific Ocean, and we maybe get snow, I don't know, 5 days of the year. Usually, it comes in a big dump, and it's very wet, so it doesn't blow. It just kind of sits and then melts. Sometimes we get it, and by the end of the day, it's gone, and then we never see it again. But I did spend time touring as a rock drummer, many years touring across Canada and parts of the US, and so I have done plenty of winter driving. So my wife, who is still in Grand Rapids with my daughter, they're going to Dancing with the Stars this afternoon. They asked me if I wanted to go. I was like, no, I'm going to go to Detroit and hang out with all of you instead. Yeah. But she was very worried this morning when I got into the car at about 6:20 to make my way here. And there was some crazy roads there for a while. The plows had not been out, and there was a few white knuckle, you know, that on the steering wheel, and I just had to breathe and go. And I'll tell you, as part of prosperity, this talk being about prosperity today, I've developed this saying in my life: I get to do this, no matter what comes up. And although I had a few moments this morning driving here where I was thinking, why did I do this exactly? Because, you know, I thought there might be some weather, but we didn't know until this week. And I saw, well, yeah, there could be a storm. But I just quickly turned that around into, I get to do this. Like, I actually get to come here and be with all of you. I got to go to Grand Rapids and hang out with my daughter, who's in acrobatics and tumbling at Calvin University. Her first competition was Friday night as an NCAA athlete. And I know, you hear that all the time. In Canada, it's not often that I meet people whose children went on to become athletes at an NCAA college and do that. So for us, we're pretty proud about that. It's like, wow, she really worked hard and achieved something. So I just kept reminding myself this morning, I get to do this. Like, who else is getting to do this? I don't know, but I get to. And that's really what we can take into our lives. And so much of what Rick shared this morning in his prayer and your statement of being is about developing a thought process and a mindset that sees possibility no matter what's in front of us. Even the things that we might not like in the beginning. Let me ask you, how many here have faced something, and I will want your hands to come up, how many here have faced something where it looked potentially like a disaster, and on the other side of it was, oh wow, I am so glad that happened. Right? Relationship, job, circle of friends, community, moving, whatever that looked like. In the moment, it looked like, right? Because we're comfortable in whatever stuff we are swimming in, right? Even if it's toxic, we get comfortable in that. And then the thought of leaving it becomes difficult because we don't know, right? We just don't know what's on the other side. And then we get there and it was like, oh man, whoop. Thank God, or whatever, whoever you want to thank you for having had this go this way. Well, I think of it, I want to share when I parked here this morning. This is Crooks Road, right?
Right.
So there's a medical building here, is that correct?
Yeah.
And it said, parking for crooks. And the road had snow on it, the little RD. And I saw, it was like parking for crooks. And I was like, wow, they have like, they are really crazy here in Detroit. They actually give you parking. And then there was another sign a little further up, the same sign, and I saw the road part, and I was like, okay, that's probably what that says, is parking for Crooks Road. So I want to talk a little bit about Eric Butterworth. Anybody here familiar with Eric Butterworth? And how about Spiritual Economics, Eric Butterworth book? Yeah, great read. If you haven't read it, I recommend it highly. It's got some really great ideas. And I want to share maybe a couple of what I call Butterworth's big ideas that he has in this book. And I'll start off with something I heard. Have you ever heard that idea of, I'm going to raise my level of abundance? Like put in those terms, I'm going to raise up my abundance. And after I read Spiritual Economics, I was thinking about that. And I kind of had to reframe that, because if I follow Butterworth's teaching, I don't need to raise my level of abundance, because in his teaching is we are already abundant. Everything we want for ourselves and for our lives is readily available. It's more, can I get out of the way to experience the abundance that is already there? There is no raising that needs to be done. It's fully present. But am I in a place, emotionally, spiritually, community-wise, where I can fully experience that abundance? Do I have the faith? And I'm not talking about belief, because belief and faith are two different things in my view. And I'll share what I think about belief in a moment, but I want to get to the faith part. Butterworth says, faith is expectancy. You do not receive what you want. You do not receive what you pray for. Not even what you say you have faith in. You will always receive what you actually expect. You will always receive what you actually expect. So I want to ask you, have you ever thought, oh, I'm going to have this thing, or I'm going to go do this thing, or I'm going to start this thing, and it's all going to work out great, and you have this great vision and this idea of how it's going to be, but further on, in the back, like way back here, in the back of our mind is a little voice that's going, nah, I don't think so. Ever had that?
Oh, yeah.
Where it's like you're putting on the brave face of, this is going to be great. But in the back is like, with just my luck, probably won't work out. Right? I'm guilty. I'm as guilty as anybody else of doing that. This is what Butterworth is talking about. Because if that's playing in the back, if that is the narrative that's playing in the back of our minds deep down, then that is actually what's going to come to fruition. So the work to do then is to address that thing that's in the back and discover, and remember one of my favorite sayings, I get to do this. That's also something that we get to do for ourselves, right? Is look inside and say, why do I have this background conversation going on? Why is my subconscious constantly feeding this idea out instead of what I consciously would like to have in my life? So here's my idea about belief. So I just invite you to just take a quick look to whoever is next to you. Just quickly have a look and see who's next to you. Now, do you believe they're there?
I know they're there.
Or do you know they are there? There's the difference. If you need to believe it, then you don't know it. And faith and expectancy is about knowing. It's not about believing. I didn't really get that until probably about a month ago. I was listening to a podcast or something of that nature, and that came up. And that really just was like, oh wow, that is different. And it makes me think of that famous old saying, know thyself. Right? So when we know ourselves, when we truly do the meditation and the prayer practice and our commitment to being our spiritual nature, our true selves, then we get that truth. And we can develop that truth to the point where we just know. You know, I know my life is taken care of. I have finally gotten to that place. Between the last time I was here and this time, I had my 60th birthday. And I finally feel like I'm actually in a place where I know my life works. It took me 60 years to figure that out, that actually my life works. So now I have this new sort of saying, like, hey, I've made it this far. Through all the stuff, right? Hey, I've made it this far. And that's when I got to the parking lot. I made it this far. I still got to drive back. But so far, so good. We're here. So continuing with the Butterworth big ideas. So really, these are incredible words. You shouldn't seek to go after money and things, but you should seek to create the consciousness through which abundance in every sense naturally comes through you. So we're not seeking for the stuff, is what he's saying. Don't be seeking the stuff out there. Be seeking the state of being. The beingness that would actually have everything show up the way that you would like it to show up in your life. So I'll give you an easy example for that. See if this reminds you of any time where you've been this in your life. Oh man, if I could just get that thing, then I would be in a better place, and then I could be happy. If I could just do that or get that, then this would show up, and then I could be really great. See, we need to flip that. We need to be the very thing that we want at the end. We need to be that first. Then we will do the things that will actually attract all of the into our lives. So I'll give you an example. I have this amazing friend back home who, everybody familiar with the Ironman competition?
Oh, yeah.
Right, it's like, 2.5 miles of swimming, 140 miles or something on a bike, and then a marathon at the end of it, 26 miles. He did 3 of them last year, 2024, and he's an amateur, right? So he did 3 of those, including in his age group over 50 plus, I think it's 50 to 55. He qualified in, I think, August in Germany. He raced there, and he qualified for the World Championships in Kona, Hawaii, which is like the pinnacle of Ironman competition, if you can make Kona. And he raced that in November. And he finished all 3 races. And he's an amateur. He's not a professional racer. However, when he started, he was telling me this story. He went to the swimming pool to start, like, I want to be an Ironman. So I got to learn to swim. So he wasn't a great swimmer. So he goes to the pool to swim, and he's got like the baggy trunks on, right? No goggles, no swim cap. And he said, I jumped in the pool, I started to swim, and I basically almost drowned. right? As he tried to, struggling along. And then he saw these guys that had caps on, they had the Speedo, they had the goggles, the hair on their body was shaved off. And he saw them as he was getting out of the pool, and he was thinking, oh, that's what I need to be. And he left the pool, and on his way home, stopped and got all of the stuff that he needed, including a razor, and came back to the pool the next day with the skin cap on, the goggles, the Speedo, shaven hair on his body, and began an Ironman swim. Even though he wasn't a great swimmer yet. But that change in who he was being allowed him to then show up the way he shows up now. And I think his third Ironman last year was his 11th or 12th in his lifetime that he's raced. And that was a huge lesson for me to hear that, oh, it's about who we're being. And you have a statement of being here that you lead off every Sunday. That is like the game setter. You should be able to leave here, don't should on me, but you should be able to leave here in a state of beingness. That's really the goal. When I think of my meditation and prayer in the morning, my goal is to put myself in a way of being that allows me to face the day no matter what comes up. So another thing this same friend, his name's Dr. Suki, by the way, that shared with me was that he wins the first part of his day. Prosperity really starts the moment you get out of bed. And so I have a morning ritual practice that I do pretty much every day. And if I miss it, if I'm late, it just feels like my day's off. Anybody else? Anybody else have a morning meditation practice or prayer practice where if you just don't do it, somehow like you just don't feel like you're firing on all cylinders? You get into a state where you have managed your well-beingness, and now stuff can come at you. You know that feeling where life is lifing you? Anybody have that feeling? Where life is just, and it's just like you're, it's like, whoa, where did this, and you're just, right? Well, actually, when you set up your day to win by starting with a practice in the morning, you can actually manage whatever comes. You can drive down a highway that you don't know in a snowstorm blizzard to get to Royal Oak and just go, oh, I get to do this. And flip your mindset instantly. It takes practice. Right? It's not without practicing it. That's why they call it a practice, by the way. That you just keep practicing it until you get better and better and better at it. Centering yourself, getting yourself in that place of, what did Butterworth say here? You shouldn't seek to go after, but have abundance in every sense naturally coming through you. Wouldn't that be great? Who thinks that would be great? I do. Right? Where you just like live going, yeah, it's all working out. I don't have to worry about it. It's all going to be fine. It is, right?
Yes.
Yeah, see, okay, good. I just want to make sure it's all, because I have my doubts sometimes whether it's all going to be fine or not. But the practice is to get that to that place of expectation where I expect it's all going to be fine. So Butterworth says, we're here to become. We're here to be all that we are in potential. We want to actualize that. We want to be as loving, as radiantly alive, as kind, as generous, as connected to Source as we could possibly be. Be as creative as we can be. So here's another way that I look at that from what he says there. Is there anybody here that's living their life? Yeah, we're living our life, sure. What if you actually flipped it into, I'm creating my life? Like this next moment, this one right here, never seen it before. It's like it's happening right now.
It is happening now.
Right? Is it not? It's just like it's right now. And so we get to create it. We get to create how we show up every single moment. Nobody can take that away from us. They can try. Anybody had those people in your life, those detractors? Yeah, they want to like weigh you down into their world. Thinking of Viktor Frankl. Anybody read Viktor Frankl's Man's Search for Meaning?
Oh, yeah.
Right? What does he say? One of the first things he realizes when he arrives at the camp and they've taken all of their clothes off, they've got nothing, they've taken everything from them. And he realized in that moment that the one thing they couldn't take was how he showed up in life. That's huge. That's like a life lesson 101 right there. That we get to say how we show up in life. We get to say that. And I don't want to come across like it's really easy. It's not. It takes something. It takes practice at it. It takes the willingness to stand in your truth, what you know to be true. And there are going to be those people in your life that don't want you to have that because they're afraid of losing you with the way that they know you. It's called comfort. Nobody likes to give up their comfort. We are comfort-seeking beings. It's like if we could make this easy, if I could have done this from my bed this morning and had the same experience, I'd have considered that. So it takes something from us to, constantly be generating our created life. That's what, for me, when I think of prosperity, I don't think of prosperity as how much money I have. Sure, that's part of it. I don't think about it as how many friends I have. Sure, that's part of it. Opportunities, sure, that's part of it. It's the whole thing. It's my entire life. Am I prosperous no matter what is going on around me? And that is something that you and I can create moment to moment to moment. It's the only way we can do it. We can future cast, but does that really work? Or how about living in the past? Anybody doing that? How does that work out? Right? Pretty powerful, huh? Okay, time-wise, I'm going to give you a few ideas here. Down, and here we go. So here are some key ways to cultivate an abundance mindset and shift from getting to becoming. Okay, we want to shift from the getting to becoming. Focus on inner development rather than external possessions. The real treasure is within, right? Cultivating qualities like love, courage, kindness, wisdom. Shift your attention to becoming the best version of yourself. Anybody familiar with Jim Rohn? R-O-H-N, Jim Rohn. He was a great motivational speaker. He was Tony Robbins' coach. One of his favorite sayings of mine is, work harder on yourself than you do at your job. Yeah. Work harder on yourself than you do at your job. Practice daily affirmations and gratitude. We started off with that, with some affirmations and some gratitude. I am peace, right? I am the place where God shows up. That's a great affirmation. We are all God, so might as well show up here. Why not? The power of I am statements and regularly expressing gratitude. This helps reprogram your subconscious mind towards abundance. So if you want to get rid of that little tiny voice in the back that is the doubting little shadow voice that's working there. By the way, I'm named Thomas after Doubting Thomas. My mother always told me that. She's like, you're named right after Doubting Thomas, and then she wondered why I doubted all the time. So I've had way more work than any of you have ever had to do on that doubting voice. So if we want to rewrite our subconscious, it takes practice, and it takes our language with ourselves and how we speak into the world. Embrace the process of personal transformation. Recognize that shifting mindsets and habits takes time and effort. Approach it with patience, some self-love, some compassion for ourselves. Right? Those times where you get, oh, I'm so dumb. Oh, I'm so slow. Everybody ever talk like that to themselves? Say these things in the back of our minds? Let's stop that. Give ourselves some space. Prioritize sharing and giving over just accumulating. Circulation, right? Give. We cannot outgive the universe. It's just not possible. You cannot. The more you open up, the more you give, the more shows up. It's like you got to keep giving it away to kind of get rid of the stuff that keeps showing up.
Give it away to keep it, right?
That's right.
Living in flow.
Living in flow, as Rick says, Reverend Rick, yes. And number 5, connect with a supportive community. When you come here, do you feel like you're chastised and thrown out? No. Right? You feel welcomed and loved, and then you get to do that. You know, there's that saying, it's like, lift others up, right? Shine your light as well. Shine your light, give others permission to do the same thing. Like when we all get together and do that, we can actually race each other to see who could outshine the other person. What a game. I'm going to shine brighter than you. No way, man. I'm shining way brighter than you. Forget that. I'm the best shiner ever.
You sound like a West Coast dude.
I live on an island. What can I say? They don't let me out very often. So when I come here, it's like, whoa, I get to do this. This is great. All right, very quickly. When you find yourself thinking thoughts that aren't creative and powerful, change them. Right? All begins with noticing. Change them. Think better thoughts. When you find yourself speaking, creating words that aren't powerful for your life, that aren't in that flow, that aren't lifting yourself and others up, stop talking that way. Change your language. And when you find yourself doing things that aren't in alignment with your values and who you are, just stop it. That's it. Has anybody ever seen that Bob Newhart skit?
Oh, yeah.
Just stop it? Stop it! Yeah, just stop it. You don't have to make a big deal. Just like, oh, hey, I'm doing that thing again. Okay, I'm not going to do that anymore. Okay, that stops today. And maybe it doesn't. Maybe, a couple days later you do it again. You go, hey, you know what? I've caught myself this time. I've noticed. And you know what? I'm not doing that anymore. It's not who I am. I am this. And speak to yourself in that way. And the process begins to shift. And here's the thing that you'll notice, and maybe you already have. Maybe I'm, talking to people that are like going, this guy's like at 101 and I'm at number 110 on the consciousness level. But here's what you'll notice, is that things in your life will begin to shift. Some people will move away. And it's not a bad thing. There's no animosity. There's no anger. All of a sudden, you're just not walking on the same path anymore. And as you walk on that path, guess what? It gets easier. And it's like you can't stop. And the things that don't need to be around you will just fall away. And it's okay. It really is. Shall we spend a few moments meditating together? What do you think?
Yes.
Yeah. Kim's going to come out and hang out with me. I'm going to make her more West Coast. So if you're comfortable, I invite you to close your eyes. If that doesn't work, then just find a place on the floor or the chair in front of you. Or if you're joining us online and you're at home, just find a space on the wall that you can soften your gaze and allow yourself to settle and relax into your breath. And take a deep breath in with me and let that go. And I invite you to allow my words to be your words, and if you're comfortable, you can repeat any of these affirmations to yourself. I am one with the infinite source of abundance. All that I need flows to me with ease and grace. Just allow that to resonate. All that I need flows to me with ease and grace. Place one or both hands on your heart, whatever's comfortable. And silently affirm to yourself, I give thanks to the blessings I already have. And this gratitude opens me up and allows the flow of life to move through me. I invite you to imagine that there's this beautiful radiant beam of light moving in you and around you, circulating. And that light is now moving out from your heart space to the world. And you realize in this moment that that light is you. You are this flow. You are this energy. Now imagine this light reaching the people next to you, moving through this community. And see that light moving out to your family, your loved ones, your friends, your neighbors. This light touching those that have hurt you. moving out into the greater community of Royal Oak, Detroit, and Michigan, the United States of America. And I invite you to notice in this moment that you are the light. You are the light. Take a deep breath in with me. Let your hands fall down to your side. Let that breath go. Notice your openness right now. That open presence. I invite you to embrace the rest of your day with that openness. Thank you for being with me. Namaste.
Savoy and our music team. Yes, yes, yes.
So good.
Oh, you can give a little love. So Thomas, when you were talking about belief and faith, I add hope ahead of that. Because for me, it's a threefold process. I hope I might be able to do it. And then the next, I can get myself to a place where, oh, I believe I can. But your explanation of belief to know, I'll steal that. That'll show up the next time I teach the powers that cover that. Or next Advent. Our ushers are going to come forward. I know that only about half of the people who are normally in church are here today, and the person, I trust that the rest of you are online. You can go to our website at unityofroyaloak.org. There's a button there labeled Donate, and we appreciate your faithfulness, if you're moved to. Somebody came up in a recent membership class last Sunday, 2 Sundays ago, the idea of tithing. We expected to tithe, and I said, what you do with your money is between you and the divine presence. I tithe because it's important to me. And this church tithes because it's important to us. We send several $1,000s out of here every year, and we'll talk about that next week. So if you're giving something today, hold the gift in your hand or an image of it in your mind. Let's say the blessing together. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I open my heart and my mind to give and to receive, completing in me the law of circulation, and so it is. Amen. Before we bless the offering, Thomas, you want to say anything about your workshop this afternoon?
Sure. Yes, I will speak about that. Okay, mic's on, great. Yeah, so the 4 powers of prosperity, we're going to take 4, everybody familiar with the 12 powers?
Yeah.
Well, I have designed a very specific class on the 4 powers of prosperity. I also have the 4 powers of creativity, and I also have the 4 powers of spirituality. So I've taken the 12 powers and put them into 3 separate workshops. One of them is today, the 4 powers of prosperity. So I invite you to join me. We'll be talking about some Butterworth stuff, but also those 4 powers. What we'd like an hour after service? Is that what we usually do it?
And we'll take a little time for fellowship and coffee, and then we can launch into that. With the size of the group we have, it's going to be an intimate discussion.
Yeah. So there's no pressure. It's really easy. If you have a pen and a paper, you'll probably want to journal some things as we go along. But I know you'll love it so far. Everybody I've done it with, they've really enjoyed it and taken some powerful things out of it for themselves. So please join us.
Thank you. Offer it on a love offering basis, so like we do everything. All right, let's pray. Gracious and loving God, we give thanks for the generosity of this community. We give thanks that you are our source of all things, for love, for life, for joy, for peace, for power. We bless these gifts and the givers. We trust and know that all is unfolding perfectly for them and for this community. And for this we give thanks as we let it be. And friends, whatever you're doing this afternoon, remember that the light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. God bless you. Have a good day.
me.